Today, I played round 3 of the chess tournament I'm playing in right now called Rilton, and I have a smile on my face. I am very excited to show you this game. I was playing against Firas Haki, who is rated 1837. I was trying to find some games from him before, but I couldn't find any games that he had played. So I went into the round just having looked at some of my openings, but I hadn't really actually prepared anything specifically because I had no idea what he played. So I went d4, he played knight f6. I had actually looked a little bit more at if he goes d5. I was looking a bit at my course just to see if, just to see what I want to play against that. But anyways, he went knight f6, and I was hoping he wouldn't play a Grunfeld. I don't know why I'm saying this. I should not say this for my future opponents, but I was very happy when he played a King's Indian. I'm giving you my honest thoughts, okay? So, anyways, the Grunfeld is when black goes d5 here. But I was very happy, sorry, in this position. But I was very happy when he played the King's Indian because I was like, okay, I know this very well. This is one of the openings I know the absolute best. So I went e4, he went d6, I went h3, and he, was spending a couple of minutes here and there, so I thought maybe he hasn't prepared this so much, I wasn't sure. He castled, I went bishop e3, which is the line that I play, and now I was very happy because he went e5 and knight h5, which is actually not so good in this line. And the reason it's not so good in this line is because black cannot play f5. So the idea of going knight h5 is to place the knight over here on f4. But after I go g3, which is the best move, I don't know why it's giving a x. The engine is literally saying it's the best move. The point is that I want to prevent the knight from going to f4. It's very important I prevent this knight from going to f4. The point now is that if black goes f5, this is a big mistake because I can take the pawn, as black is not able to capture back with the pawn because then this knight is hanging. And if they take back with a piece, they lose, well, they lose a piece. So this was the idea. So I was very happy because this line with knight h5 is actually not so good with the opening that I played because this knight now just simply becomes a bad knight. And the idea of f5 is just not possible anymore. So he played a5 instead, I went bishop e2, then I went back to f6, and I went g4. And now I was very happy because I knew that my plan is basically to go h4, g5, and h5. So he went knight a6, and here I spent a little bit of time thinking because I wasn't exactly sure if I should go g5 now or if I should go knight f3 because his idea is to go knight c5. And so when he goes knight c5, I need to figure out how do I defend this pawn. I don't want to defend this pawn with my pawn because then in certain moments, if I ever go g5, my bishop is not protecting this square anymore. So I don't want to go here. I also didn't really want to go queen c2, I thought, to defend this pawn because my plan is to go h4, and with my queen over here, my pawn is not going to be defended on g4. So I felt like I was in a bit of a pickle. I felt like I was in a moment or a crossroad, and I had to make a decision. And I was thinking, okay, if knight f3, if the knight goes over here, should I go knight d2? I wasn't really sure. So I opted for going for this move g5, now forcing the knight to move back and playing h4. So I went for this immediately. I spent like 5-6 minutes just thinking about this. But now I was sure that I would be able to play this move. But I was still a little bit in my brain confused about some lines. I wasn't exactly 100% sure that this was the way I was supposed to play it. But I thought to myself, Anna, who knows how you're supposed to play this? Just play confidently. And then that's what I try to do. So anyways, here I was happy. This king is quite weak. Black's pieces are very pushed back. So here I was feeling quite happy. So he played this move f5 here, which is honestly the move he has to do. And here I spent a lot of time thinking because I spent like 25 minutes, which wasn't as bad as yesterday. Yesterday I spent an hour on one move. Today on the longest thing, I spent 25 minutes. I think there's an improvement. Do we agree? Please tell me we agree. Yeah. Actually, someone came up to me and was like, did you spend an hour today on a move? And I was like, man, how does everybody know that I've done this? Anyways, so I ended up taking here. The reason I spent so long was because I couldn't figure out what to do with this pawn once again. Like, I was thinking, Should I go f3? Should I go knight f3? But I didn't want to go f3. I didn't want to go knight f3 because of f4. And I was just wishing that this knight was over here because then I would be able to take it yeah. So I was just a little bit contemplating all my options, but then I found the idea of taking. And now, of course, the problem becomes this pawn in a little bit. But before this becomes a problem, I realized that I need to go h5 and I need to create a weakness in black's position. So now this g6 pawn was going to become the weakness. So my plan was here to force black to get this really weak pawn. And now I had to make a choice on how to defend this pawn once again, which was forever my annoying thing. I was so annoyed at the fact that this pawn was always hanging. So here I think I went for a very creative plan. Maybe my mother would call it a bad plan, I don't know. But I decided to go for the move bishop f3, which looks very wrong. I knew that this was a move the computer wouldn't like, but the point of this move is that I am preventing a knight from going to g4. I didn't want to go something like queen c2 because then there's knight over here, and I just didn't really understand what I'm supposed to do then, because I don't want to trade off this bishop, and I don't want to take there either, and I don't know where the bishop goes. So yeah, I was really confused actually on how to defend this pawn. I suppose I would have had to take in it, but yeah, I wasn't sure. f3 I didn't want to do because I didn't want black to have the idea of going knight over here and knight f4. So if I don't go queen c2 and I don't go f3, the only other option is to get rid of my bishop, but I really like having my bishop here defending this pawn forever. So I thought, let me just go bishop f3, which defends this pawn. It prevents a piece from getting to g4, and it looks wrong, but whatever, let's just go for it. So I went bishop d7. I now went queen e2, which I think was a bit slow. I should probably have gone knight h3. The reason I didn't do it, which maybe looks crazy, is because I was a bit worried about queen c8. And then after knight g5, I was somehow a bit worried about bishop g4. But yeah, this doesn't really make sense for me to be worried about, so I don't know why I didn't go for knight h3 here. So queen e2 was a mistake. I went castles here. And now finally I went knight h3, but he could definitely have tried to stop it. Like here, I thought maybe he can go queen c8, and now he's preventing my knight from getting out, and I have to go queen f1 was my idea. And then queen g2. This was actually the other idea of queen e2. It was not just to castle, but it was to get my queen to g2 and put pressure on that pawn. But he didn't do this. So I was very happy and I was able to go knight h3. And here he spent a very long time thinking. He spent like 20 minutes, and he took my knight, which I was very happy about, because I thought now that he's taken this knight, this pawn is going to be so difficult to defend. So I simply started attacking that pawn, and I wasn't sure how he was going to defend it. I saw a crazy line, which I'm not even sure if it works, but I kind of want to see if it does. I saw a line where if he goes rook h8 and here, and I thought rook h7, I thought that I maybe had bishop over here, with the idea being that after takes, I can go queen takes, and after rook takes, rook g7. Oh, and it doesn't work because the king escapes. Yeah. King e7. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Yeah, the king goes to f6. Sorry, this is just me getting very excited about chess. Wow, yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, whatever. I was looking at all kinds of lines. But anyways, he went rook g8. Of course, I don't have to sacrifice anything. And now I went bishop h5. Here I was very happy. I had more time than my opponent. Everything was great. I was able to get this beautiful bishop on f5. I thought this is the greatest day ever. The queen went to e8. And now I had to come up with a plan, like the punchline, you know, in a joke. Okay, I know I have a great position, but what is the punchline? I had no clue what the punchline was. I had to figure it out. So I went bishop g5 because I thought that maybe his plan was to go queen h5, so I kind of wanted to just stop his plan. So I went bishop here, pinning the knight. He went queen f7, and I knew his plan was to bring the rook to g8. And I went f4. My plan was simply to weaken this pawn and actually to go queen h2. And now there's not really any way of defending this pawn because the knight can't move. So he played bishop g7, and I played king c2 because I wanted to prevent this knight from getting up. And then the king moved, and I decided actually to not take this pawn because I thought there might be some tactics here, like knight takes e4. And I got a little bit, I didn't like that, so I decided to not go for anything crazy. I actually only had 4 minutes left at this point. So I was like, Anna, don't go for anything crazy because things can turn really quickly. So I was trying to play more solid. He went knight over there, with the idea being that, yeah, there is just simply a pin, so I cannot take it because the rook is hanging. But I went queen h3, defending the rook, attacking the knight. Then I went bishop e6, which was a really beautiful move, because now, after takes and takes, I have this great move, queen f5, and now there isn't much to do because, you know, I'm threatening to win the knight, and if black trades queens, I will take back with the rook, and you cannot defend this knight. That's the only way now to defend this, by going king e7, but I can then simply go knight check, and then I will win a piece. So this is just, you know, completely winning. So after queen f5, he went bishop h8, I took the knight, and he resigned. So I won in 37 moves. I was very happy about this. I'm actually really happy with the game. I think I had like 91% accuracy or something. So this was a good game. I felt in control most of the time. And it just feels great to win. So I'm going to try again, you know. I've lost the game. Of course, losing yesterday was not good. But I'm on 2 out of 3 points, and there's still 6 games to go. So plenty of things can happen in these 6 rounds. So I'm very excited. So I hope that you're enjoying watching the tournament. I hope you enjoyed watching the recap. And thank you so much for watching. Wish me good luck for tomorrow, round 4. Let's see if we can still get a great result this tournament.